Okay, all you Batman fans out there, you are listening to the Night of the Batman, and this is Jim Starlin, who had a little bit to do with Batman along the way. Have a good one.
Hey guys, this is Amanda,
And I'm Alex.
and you're listening to Night of the Batman. Okay, so this is our
50th episode. And for our 50th episode, I'm going to bring the mic a little bit closer to us. For our 50th episode, we're going to talk about and basically do so for 50th episodes, I like to kind of do self-indulgent stuff. For my 50th episode of What Mean, it was a commentary on Terror Lake, and we kind of made fun of it. This time we're gonna kind of talk about my Crusader web series. We're not gonna watch it yet. We'll probably save that for the 100th one, but we're gonna talk about the script. So
for context. Terror
I
Lake
would
is a found footage esque film that Alex made when he was like right out of high school.
yeah. So this one goes even farther back than that. I think I was in ninth or 10th grade, possibly. And so when I wrote this, so for context, Crusader series is kind of like Smallville. I was heavily inspired by that. And I was in high school, and I really wanted a Batman show with that vibe. So I figured, why not try to make it? Fan films were really popular at the time. I would argue they're really popular now too, but they're more big budget. Back then, you had more of a variety where a lot of them were low budget, and some of them were it was basically like the Wild West. Like a lot of them were low budget, and so that was kind of encouraging to me. And so I was like, I'll try this because no one else is gonna make it.
Yeah, this would have been like the early days of YouTube before YouTube was like the video site. Like this would have been back when you still had other video platforms like live video and what's the other one? The one that had salad fingers on it?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like I said, I figured why not do a web series where it was Harvey, Dent, and Bruce instead of Lex and Clark. I'd go into the psychology of Harvey. A lot of it was based on the Batman the Animated Series and how they handled Two-Face, and also Long Halloween and how they did that too. With the abusive dad of Harvey for Long Halloween. I also didn't have a budget, so I had to make some constraints to make it work with what I had available. We'll be getting into the script mostly today, and like I said, save the adaptation of the script for the 100th episode, so you guys got that to look forward to. I don't know if you'll if you'll like this or not. We're gonna try to kind of my goal with this is to be informative of it. Like if you guys want a link to the script, just let me know. I can provide one. And it's be informative, but also maybe for some writers out there to kind of be okay, give them an idea of where we started out, and maybe for some people that want to write stuff, maybe inspire them to want to do some creative stuff too. It's just kind of it's I'm gonna kind of try to be respectful while also kind of roasting my stuff. I promise I'm a better writer now than I used to be.
No. He asked me what I thought of it after I read it. Keep in mind, I love this man. I married this man. I said, I'm going to spend my whole life with this human being. Right. Like, all the women out in the world, and I chose this man. Anyway, with that in mind, he asked me my opinions, and I laughed at his face. And then I told him it is what watches from below.
Which is for context, my horror.
Context.
My horror script.
Yeah, so when we first started dating, he started writing What Watches from Below, which is like a horror movie. It's great, 10 out of 10. This is not.
Which I'm also adapting into a novel that I'll be publishing later on. So
That's not. Yeah.
Yeah, so keep in touch with that. It's just really briefly elevator pitch. It's kind of like Stranger Things mixed with Evil Dead is how I describe the kind of vibe of it. But anyway,
Okay.
So the opening is a fairly standard. It starts with a nightmare sequence of Bruce's origin and him waking up from said nightmare. And then it's just fairly normal. To Alfred saying that most of the boxes were packed, he's moving to a small town because he wants to be free of paparazzi and see how others perceive him without the weight of the Wayne name, stand on his own 2 feet. And then I say, this is obviously a story choice, and like I said earlier, constraint I made because I lived in a small town and I didn't have a mansion. What's up? You good?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, my hot take, I'm so tired of seeing Batman origin stories, like the death of his parents. Same way with, like, I'm tired of seeing Uncle Ben die. I'm tired of seeing Martha Wayne die. I'm tired of seeing... What is his father's name? Jonathan. No. Jonathan Kent. Thomas. Sorry. The Marthas and then, like, the dads get confused because, like, they're both Martha. But I'm just tired of seeing the Waynes die. I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
This was also, to be fair, this was at a time when that wasn't as much of a thing. Like, we'd only had, like, maybe 2 film adaptations like that. And then also, I would argue with the Uncle Ben thing, you haven't really seen him die that much. You've seen him die in the movies, like, twice. Like really. Like,
twice in the movies and in the 90s series. And didn't we see it in Amazing or Spectacular?
It's alluded to, but you don't actually see it.
I don't know. I feel like everybody knows the origin stories.
But I would
argue, know what happens.
To defend this, I would also argue it is like a prequel thing, so you do have to set it up, and like it's not like I did the whole thing like where it's like this big long thing. It's like it's a nightmare sequence, so yep. I would kind of say that with that. So Alfred has this explained to him, like the whole like I want to stand on my own 2 feet. Like, I knew it was important to incorporate him into the script, also to point out an obvious flaw. Everyone would still kind of know who Bruce Wayne was unless he moved across the world, but that's kind of like a critique I had rereading my old script.
I don't know, though, because, like, would you recognize, like, one of Elon Musk's children if, like, just out in the wild?
Well, he also talks about paparazzis here, so clearly he's in the public eye, so, like, you'd probably see him on there.
Okay, well, so we're talking paparazzi.
Also, his parents died.
I know, but, like, I'm gonna compare it to, like, Kylie Jenner in the early 2000s. I was a teenager, and I didn't know who she was.
I guess I kind of see what you mean.
To be fair, like, I was not all about,
I mean,
like,
if you're arguing
paparazzi and, like, that.
If you're arguing that something in my script actually works that I'm trying to poke holes in, I'm not really gonna stop you. But so anyway, we cut away and get introduced to Harvey studying a law book in his room, and his mom asked him why he wasn't outside. It's raining, and she really just wanted him out of the house because she reveals, like, quietly, like, she kind of brushes her hair to the side, that the dad hit her. She didn't mean to show him, and kind of also tries to downplay it. How I wrote this kind of confuses me because she kind of reveals, like, the whole, like, bruise on her face, and it's kind of, like, weirdly written there where, like, it's kind of like maybe she accidentally did it, but it kind of also gives the vibe like she wants him to, like, get out of the house.
I read it like it wasn't necessarily a bruise on her face, but, like, she was trying to conceal, like, a bruise, like, neck or shoulder or something. And so, like, moving her hair to conceal it. I don't know. That made more sense to me.
In the we'll get into the video version of this. It's very unclear in that, too.
Who plays her?
No one. I didn't have anyone to play certain roles, so I'd be reacting to, like, an empty, like, basically it'd just be me. Yeah, I didn't have any actors for certain parts. It's gonna be a fun ride.
You're Harvey Dent, right? And Chris is Bruce.
Chris is Bruce, and then I also play Alfred, but it's off screen. And, like, it's weird, and I play Rupert Thorne, too, and then Angel, who you guys are gonna see, he's also, that's how me and him kind of became friends, is he plays the question mark killer, which we'll get to later when we cover that. But yeah, we actually had the opportunity to meet him recently, so if he's listening to this, like, shout out to you, man.
Over a year ago.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, that was a weird moment. This sends Harvey into a rage. His temper is something I took from the animated series. where like he basically has this like hair trigger like temper. It definitely in the two-parter too. It's definitely pulling a lot from the Two-Face two-parter. But he confronts and threatens his dad and gets smacked down and kicked in the stomach. This is pretty dark. The mom wants them to stop, then sides with the dad when he tells him to get out of there. This clearly hurts him. I think it's one of those things where I will say for the mom briefly that she was probably just like, if he leaves, it's not gonna get like any worse. It wasn't like her necessarily like fully on siding with him. It was more of a just like he needs to leave so he doesn't get beat up more, basically.
Oh, well, for me, it felt like out of character for her, and I guess it's probably because it's shown more from Harvey's perspective. I was like, bad mother? I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Like, I was even reading that, and I'm like, I think I just went for the drama of the scene, not necessarily, like, and also he needed to leave that scene, so I was trying to find a way to do that. Again, like, I hadn't written a lot at this point.
I feel like if he would have been angry and been like, get out now, and the mom would have been like, go, like, you know, trying to usher him out, like, staying out of it, but trying to, like, get him out of the house so he's, like, away from his dad, it would have, like, landed better.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my opinion, you know. But yeah, you can continue to tell the story. Are we gonna talk about like dialogue choices and things like that?
I mean, we can. Did you have something in mind?
I was just gonna talk about how it wasn't like I did not feel like natural, but like it's fine. I'll let you finish this so we can go back and talk about it. A lot of the dialogue doesn't feel like it's something a person would actually say. And, like, the phrasing felt weird, but you were also, like, a kid, like, an actual kid writing something, so...
Yeah, and I wasn't, like I said, and I'm not here to, like, be, like, get all defensive, like, it is something I wrote when I was in high school, so, you know, but, so anyway, he goes out into the cold rain, which is interesting, given what happens a little later, it'll come up soon. So we cut. Bruce is moving in some boxes, and he watches a news report on 3 bodies that were found in a ditch, the latest victims of what Gotham Gazette has deemed the question mark killer. A killer who leaves bloody question marks in the victims' homes and a complex riddle. One person is missing, though, Courtney Young. So this character was made to be kind of a proto-Riddler or someone who would go on to inspire him. It was him and the bully character we'll meet soon named Tim that were going to be the primary antagonist, as well as Rupert Thorne, who is in the pilot but doesn't appear in this script. So a few flaws. How were the victims connected to the house if they were found in the ditch? What was the riddle? Also, Courtney was never followed up on. That's like something I remembered. I'm like, I think I cut that when I actually did the pilot because that was never followed up on. So yeah, like that was like sloppy writing on my part. Like I realized that. I'm just like, why didn't they just? It's a news report. I could have just wrote that they were found in the house like that. Like how did those two things really connect? Like because it didn't even say in the dialogue. You know, something.
Curiosity,
like
what's your writing process? Do you like storyboard? Not like storyboard, but like do you like have an outline or do you just kind of wing it?
Well, for this one, I just kind of like I usually in my head like I'll kind of form a whole story out before I write anything down. Like I'll take like a few days and basically like mentally like come up with like the outline for it. For this one, it's been so long I don't really remember. I think I probably just like winged it. But yeah. So like I said, the next scene has Bruce getting another box and tripping. He's outside. Harvey's conveniently walking by. They live in the same neighborhood and runs to help him. They introduce themselves to each other and Bruce lies saying his name is Bruce Green. Harvey says maybe they'll see each other around and mentions where he lives. Alfred walks up after Harvey's walking away and asks who he is. Bruce tells him who he is and says he seems like a cool guy. Not exactly an epic meeting, like Clark getting hit by Lex's car. I noticed that. I was like, and here's the other thing, too. So, like, earlier I mentioned the whole, like, rain thing, right?
It's not raining, they're moving his stuff in.
Yeah, the weird thing is, I kind of alluded to it earlier, it's supposed to be raining. Why would he be unloading boxes in the cold rain? Sloppy writing is what I wrote. the next scene, we meet Tim and his gang, who told him to stay out of his side of the neighborhood. Apparently, all these guys live in the same neighborhood. Again, I didn't have a budget. I think I could drive at this point, but like, it was one of those things where I was just trying to use what I had immediately available to me, and it was like my friends that lived in the neighborhood. Um, and so that was a factor when I was riding. Um, so Tim and his gang had told him to stay out of this side of the neighborhood. He tries to speed up and avoid them, saying he doesn't want trouble. But in the most cliche moment, Tim says he's got trouble and pushes him and punches him. The gang laughs, and we see Harvey's rage again as Harvey pushes him. This doesn't last long. Tim gets up, and the gang starts beating him on the ground. He shakily holds up a knife, and this is somehow enough to make them stop. Tim says it's not over, and they start to leave. Okay, this isn't in my notes, but like, they're a gang, right? Like, how come they don't have any weapons?
Also, like, are they, like, supposed to be, like, an actual gang, or are they just, like, a group of kids?
We find out they work with a mobster.
What the fuck?
They're scared of a knife. Like, it's like, oh, this isn't over. And it's just like, what? Like, you guys should have, like, at least a knife, if not like a gun or something, which, by the way, by that time I was not even like a fake gun. I don't think I've
How old are these, like, are they supposed to be?
We're supposed to be teenagers.
like what? Because, like, 14-year-olds and 17-year-olds, there is a vast difference.
I don't remember the exact age. I would think we're supposed to be high schoolers, though, basically.
So, like, sophomores, juniors.
I think I was in either 9th or 10th grade when I did this. But, so Harvey drops the knife and grabs Tim by the collar, savagely beating him. The gang have to pull him off. Tim's a bloody mess. His nose and mouth are bleeding, his cheeks swollen. He mutters for the gang to leave. And then I wrote this. I guess they do along with Tim. The script doesn't make it clear. Also, apparently that rage he was in was like a trance, or when people get so angry they black out and go full like attack mode, basically, because like it's not clear. It's just like he mutters for them to leave, and then like I don't really address it after that. Like, again, like, just kind of, I think also when I was writing this, I was assuming since I was the one writing it that I would remember, be like, I wouldn't have to be too specific. Like, I wasn't thinking years later I was gonna cover it on a podcast. Also with this, if you guys want to look this up, I'll provide a link. But the original web series episode has a commentary by me at the time on it, like an audio commentary where I take it very seriously and kind of try to overlook the flaws.
You're so pretty.
It's I'm glad it exists, but it is one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. It's like earlier Amanda was reading out loud like parts of this, and I'm like, even now, like with like current stuff I write, like I don't want to hear my dialogue out loud. Like, I'm like, no.
You know, I feel like I feel like I'm nicer about my writing from high school than you are.
I also like making fun of myself. Like, it's kind of like a fun thing I can do to kind of like, I don't know.
To be fair, my sonnets were not bad.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do have writing I'm still proud of, but this is one of those where, like, I mean, even then, like, I remember, and we'll get more into this when we go eventually to the 100th episode, but I remember Angel really liking this script, but the actual episode, I could tell that he was trying to, like, be complimentary, but also he was just like, this is rough.
I also, like, I love you so much. I don't know how good of an actor you would be, and I don't know
I guess we'll see.
Chris at acting. For context, Chris is like Alex's like high school best friend, middle school best friend.
Yeah, it was 7th through like 12, like into the college years too. We were still best friends, but yeah. So anyway, going back to the script, Harvey also looks I put inhuman here. I almost said inhumane. With the red face, and he's apparently like breathing really heavily. I imagine I was going for how he looked when he attacked a criminal who kicked dirt at him in the Two-Face like Batman two-parter. Like, there's a moment like where the animation is like really like, you see like his face just like get like really like not red necessarily, but you see like just how angry he is. Like, they animate that scene really well, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But So anyway, he snaps out of it with only a vague recollection of what happened and is freaked out when he realizes the blood on his hand isn't his. So, this is going to be the part for overall thoughts. This is my overall thoughts. Overall, an interesting but pretty flawed script. But a fun read to see how much I've grown since then. I wish I had taken more chances. Like, even in the pilot, there's more than what's ultimately in this script. In the actual pilot, I have Bruce go after the bullies and Rupert Thorne even shows up. Maybe I realized the episode needed more later on. Because there wasn't much. Like, even, like, just going through the script, like, even I was telling Amanda, my notes for flashbacks are longer than this, to where I sent it to you in text and it was able to send through just fine, basically.
So I definitely felt like it was lacking. It did not feel like it would have made like a full episode, even for like a mini episode of like a 10-minute like web series. The dialogue felt really disingenuous. I couldn't see teenagers talking like that. And
what do you mean by disingenuous? Like, it's like you keep
not
like
real. Like
what does that mean?
I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
Like Bruce's dialogue. Because, Alfred, I'm tired of being the rich boy and being chased by the paparazzi all the time. I want to be able to do things without anyone's help, to learn to stand on my own 2 feet. See how people would treat me if they didn't know I was Bruce Wayne.
It doesn't really sound like Bruce, I'll give you that.
I don't know. And it doesn't even, like, sound like whiny teenager either. Like, it doesn't feel natural. And maybe it's because, like, I am like a word person. So like I'm like a dialogue person.
That's fair. Also, go ahead.
Yeah, like I don't know. If you've watched the show a lot, you know that I like words. I like dialogue. I think that action is boring, and so for me, I think that the way the characters phrase things can be really important and say a lot about the character. And it didn't feel right, you know?
It was I would describe it as like a very, like, and I'm saying this because, like, while I do acknowledge this does have flaws, I'm like, you know what? Like, it does have, like, little slivers of, like, I see kind of what I was going for here and there. Like, on its face, like, the premise of, like, a young Harvey Dent and, like, a young, like, Bruce Wayne, like, meeting and, like, becoming friends and, like, forming a friendship is, like, a cool premise. Like, is it a bit derivative of Smallville? Maybe, but, like, also, like, Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne were friends in the comics. Like, that is something that was there. And also, for me, like, it would be really cool. Like, I wanted to get into, like, the psychology of, like, Two-Face and stuff like that, and I thought it'd be really cool to do that. And, so, like, I thought, you know, it was pretty cool. Was it perfect? No. Was some of the dialogue really cliche? Yeah, but like it was, I'm pretty sure I did this like in 2010 or something. So like I was a kid, you know, like it's always good to look back at stuff you've made and see like how you've improved. You never want to look back and be like, damn, that was good. I wish I could still do that, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think that like him having an abusive father makes a lot of sense, considering like dissociative identity disorder
Yeah.
can be like triggered or caused by trauma. I like, and I don't think like the script was really just for me. Like I don't think it's like the worst thing I've ever read. Lord knows.
It's also written by a 10th grader.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've read Hemingway, and I think I enjoyed this more than anything I've read by him, so.
Yeah. It was, like, one of those things, too, where I feel like because I thought at times about, like, bringing this back and, like, rewriting it and making it, like, stronger, because I think that was the other thing. I think back then I was too, like, locked into, like, the continuity of, like, the original comics and everything and, like, how it was structured. I didn't take any risks with it. Like, even in the pilot, like, the most that, and we'll get into it when we actually watch it, the most Bruce does is he just has a hoodie on and, like, beats up some bullies, and that's the extent of it. And I think in the second or the follow-up episode, because I've seen some art that I did later on, and it kind of had, like, also Harvey Dent and, like, a hoodie, like, with glasses, so I think maybe they might have teamed up, which would have been something cool. It would have been something different. And so I kind of would want to know what that was, but I don't think beyond like what I've been able to uncover really anything else is there. Like I don't know. I just kind of wish I took more risks. That would be my thing out there. I would tell any like potential writers or people that are possibly younger listen to this, like if you're writing stuff, just go for it. Just like, don't be afraid, just especially if you're doing like a work of like fan fiction or something, like don't be afraid to basically like branch off from the continuity and everything, kind of do your thing. My thing is like I was too locked into what the comics were and didn't really like change much about stuff. I think I probably would be riskier now because I would not say it's boring, but I would say I would try to make it more interesting now. And that goes to show that I've grown as like a writer. Go ahead.
It was too much exposition, I think, which is wild. I like exposition, but like it wasn't gripping. And I think that knowing that people know like the basis of the story, you could have, made more bold choices.
Yeah, that was my takeaway too. Is I think that I definitely could have made a few more bold choices, but I thought we're actually going to roast it more than we actually ended up doing. I guess
I can be mean.
No, that's fine. I think we're at the natural conclusion of this. We'll definitely like tear into it. So my plan for the 100th episode, when we do get to that, is for us to do like a video commentary, and also I have some ideas. Maybe we could go into like some of the other like back material, like behind the scenes stuff, and kind of like just really do that, like just to kind of like, because this is interesting. A lot of this stuff is still up on YouTube if you guys want to watch it. Just remember that stuff's even rougher than this script. So like, just if you guys want a link to the script to read it, it's really short. I was able to finish reading it in about like 4 minutes. So like yeah. So I enjoyed going over this. I also enjoyed we haven't done this recently. I know you've been doing the Review More Girls podcast recently, and I miss doing this. This was good to do this again. It's been a minute.
Yeah, when are we gonna read Nightwing as Batman?
We can maybe do that for the next episode if you'd like. Yeah, we can do that.
You've been promising me.
Yeah, and so thank you for indulging me, and thank you fans out there for indulging me on reviewing like something that is, while I do roast it a little bit, something that is still very near and dear to my heart. So it's awesome that we're already to 50 episodes and that we're going to keep going. And I have my wife to actually thank for this, because if it wasn't for her, like, in pushing me to release more episodes, we would have like reached 50 eventually, but it wouldn't have been this soon. So I'd like to actually thank Amanda for pushing me to keep, doing this show and to keep like consistent and everything. And this is, thanks.
Oh, well, you're welcome. It is my show after all.
Yeah. But by the way, check out her Review More Girls show. I've already started sharing links on it's in the highlight reel on our official Instagram page for Night of the Batman. So if you guys want to watch that, she does that with her cousin Michaela. And so yeah, definitely check that out. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we are reviewmore.girls on Instagram. Spelled REVIEWMORE.GIRLS.
Yep.
And we're also that on Spotify. You should give us a follow and listen. We've got, I think, 4 episodes out. We should have more, but the flu really screwed everything over with that.
Yeah. And at the time of this recording, episode 4 is out already. So if you guys want to check out their newest episode, or if you've already checked it out, or not if you already checked it out, if you haven't checked it out yet, you got 4 episodes to watch and a 5th one on the way. So anyway, thank you for listening. And are you ready?
Yep.
We will
come up with an outro eventually.